First video ever. Today I'm going to show you guys how to set up a saltwater tank. A lot of people walk in my store or at Exotic Aquarium World, say, how do we set up a saltwater tank? I'm going to give you guys a very easy way of doing it. I'm going to show you everything over here. I'll show you some of the contents if you want to come take a look. I have an aquarium right here. This is an all-in-one aquarium. This is made by Coral Life. It's a 32-gallon. We're going to have a heater, media, sand, bacteria, and prime, which I'm not going to be using. I'm just showing it for the video for people that are not going to be using RO water, with people using tap water. All right, so I'm going to get into this. So I prepared a bin over here with water. This is RO water. I'm using RO water because I prefer to use RO water. A lot of people say, well, I don't have access to RO water. I only have tap water. Can I use tap water? Yes, you can. Tap water, you can use it as long as you use a conditioner. You can use whatever you want. I'm using Prime by Seachem. There's a lot of brands out there. You pick what you want, and that's what can go for. So take a look over here. I got my water. If you want to put a heater in here, get it to the temperature that, you know, for 75, that's good. That's what my water is at right now. I don't have a heater in right now, but you can do that. Or when you're using tap water, just use the warm water. So I have salt here, very simple. I'm taking salt. I have a big 200 here. As you can see the salt, so we're gonna put it right in. So some people say, why do you have a pump in there? Well, this is for it to circulate the water for me. So I don't have to do it by hand. Some people have to get rashes, some people get other things. So it's up to you what you want to do. I have a pump. If you don't have a pump, that's fine. There you go. Now the water is mixing. It's very simple. So this has to be mixed for probably, it depends on the salt you get. I'm using Fritz here. I find it that it mixes really well. Like it's probably 20 minutes, it starts to clear up. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. So, if you want to come on this side, so this over here, you can always improvise and do whatever you like. I want to show the back here, if you just want to show. So it came, it's an all-in-one where it filter actually comes in built into it. So there's no sump. We're not doing a sump today. One day I promise I'll do a video about sumps, but today, this is an all-in-one, very easy to set up. Me personally, I'm not gonna use the trays. So I'm taking it out, I'm gonna do my own thing because I've been in the hobby for too long and I don't see why I need to use trays. Maybe trays can be used for different methods. Maybe if you're using it for fresh water, you're doing it for something else. Maybe to put different types of media. For me, I like my media, I like my filter floss. Filter floss, if you wanna know what it is, it's just regular floss. So this, pick it up at your local fish store. I just cut up a piece and that's what I'm gonna be using inside. All right, so I'll show you what I'm gonna do while this is mixing. So people ask me, how do you determine the salt level? Well, I'll show you guys in a minute. I just put a little bit of salt to see how much salt we have in the bucket. In the meantime, I cook these up. I'm not gonna be using them. There we go. Here, I'm using marine pure. You have to use media. Very important. In salt water, media is the #1 factor to keep things alive. You have to use media. It can be anything. It can be whatever brand. There's Matrix, there's marine pure. You pick what you want. So over here, come take a look. We got the back chamber. I'm gonna open this up. So these are the media balls. That's how they look like. All right, we'll be on this side. You can take the view. I'm gonna fill them up. Do these need to be in a bag? No, they don't, because you don't have to ever take them out. Once they're in, they're in. This is gonna be the heart of the tank. So the heart of the tank is this. There we go. They're in now. All right. So there's going to be a lot of debris. There is a sponge that comes in with the tank over here in the back, right here. I don't recommend using the sponge for salt water, but in the first month, I would say just keep it till you get your tank cycled. So I would keep that in there till you get your tank cycled, and that's what I would do. So I got my media in there. Some people would say, so now if you come take a look over here, it's starting to clear up. In the meantime, I can show you, I have a hydrometer and I have a digital pen. I have a digital pen because that's what I use personally. So the hydrometer is very simple. You put it inside like that, and we check the levels of the sand, of the salt. So the gravity level looks like it's very high. Maybe I put a little bit too much salt. So let's just make sure and see what the salt level is like. Most likely this needs to be calibrated. So these things, when you open them up, it tells you right on the on the package, they have to be calibrated for 24 hours. So I just opened this over here. My pen is showing me 1.021. So this is low for salinity if you are going to keep corals. If you're going to keep fish only, that's a good level. But for corals, I wouldn't recommend it. So I am going to be putting a little bit more to bring it up to 1.025. That's what I would put it at. So not much more. So it's reading 1.022. As you can see, temperature is at 23.5. It's a good temperature. A little bit warmer is fine. So we're just starting it up. I'm going to put a little bit of salt, not too much. There we go. So I think that should be it. All right, we'll come back to it in a minute. All right, I'll put this aside. Okay, so now I got rocks. I got a few rocks over here. So a lot of people say, should I put the sand or should I put the rocks? You should put the rocks in first, because you don't want to put the sand and then put the rocks on top. What happens is, if you've got a fish that digs, it's going to dig that sand and all your rocks are going to go tumbling on you. So put the rocks in. So that's what we're going to do. The idea here is you have to build yourself a structure. I don't know what structure I'm going to build. I have some pieces. I have 4 or 5 pieces in here. The rule of thumb, a lot of people say, how much rock do I need? I mean, if we're going to go for the rule of thumb, the rule of thumb says 2 pounds per gallon. But this is a 32 gallon. I'm not going to be putting 60 pounds in here. I want to see my fish. So what I'm going to be putting in here, whatever I feel comfortable, because the rest, and people say, what happens to the rest? Well, the rest is going to go in here. This is where your media comes in handy. So anything that you miss is going to be in the media. All right, so let's do it. So I chose this as a flat rock. So this is flat. Some rocks come in flat. Some rocks are gold. The reason why I chose the flat one is because I'm sure this is going to be nice and steady inside. So here we go. Try to keep space between the rock and the glass, because one day you're going to be cleaning your glass and you're not going to be able to put that magnet flow through. So you want to make sure your rocks are pushed back somewhere. You don't have to lean to the back. So I'm going to use this piece on top. Wow, this fits perfectly. I made a little cave in there. I didn't do anything and it's already a cave. Let's see this one here. So just try to play around with it, make sure it works. See this here? Very nice. Very nice. So the way I'm going to do it, make sure that I can get a magnet flow or a scraper that's going to clean your glass when you get the algae in there. Another thing, I'm thinking probably one of these. So build a second, you can always be creative and build your own stuff. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but just be creative. I don't know. I have this piece here. All right, as you can see. See that? Another piece. Go up a little bit more. Okay, so some people say, is this safe? Well, you can still cement this stuff in by getting cement. You can get rock cement. It's actually reef safe. You can use it inside your tank. It's nice. I mean, it will fit in. Like, it's not going to be harmful. Cement is available out there. I think Niles makes it, and Aquaforest have cement. So you can look into that and get it from there. You want to go back in here? Let's test it and see what we have right now. So here's the pen. We're tested. So this is a digital Hana pen. Digital Hana pens are very, so they were at 1.027. We're just gonna wait for that the marker to stop. So I did put a little bit extra. We wanted to aim at 1.0226, 2526. Okay, that's fine. Don't panic. Put a little bit more water in there and you should be fine. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna go grab myself some water and I'm gonna be putting it in there to bring it down to that level. So it's fine if you put more. So you take a little bit of water out and you put water in, or that's why I left some room here so I can always correct it if I did something wrong. And it's always, you should always leave room for mistakes, and that's fine. Okay, so now that we're here, I'm going to be putting sand. So this sand over here, this is live sand. So make sure when you buy live sand, you buy something that's not expired. Because if it's expired, you have to wash it. If it's not expired, you can put it right in without washing it. So this over here will expire February 2023. Today's April, I think 19, 2022. So we still got another 8 months in this. So this doesn't have to be washed because it is live. If you buy something that's dead, I would wash it. About the sand, I chose special grade. The reason why I chose special grade, there's a lot of different types. There's sugar grade, there's Fiji. I chose the reef sand special grade because I feel personally, this is my personal opinion, where it doesn't fly as much. It's mixed between sand and a little bit of rougher texture, which is pretty good. I like it. So I should grab myself, just give me a second, just see how it's mixing the water. The water is mixing there, still mixing. I'm grabbing myself some scissors, because the only way to open this is with a pair of scissors. So again, I put the rocks in first, then I'm gonna put the sand around the rocks. Why? Because again, if you missed it, it's because you don't want the rocks to go tumbling down on you. So here, this is open, and don't worry, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. Eventually, everything will settle in perfectly. Some people say, how much sand do I need? Well, how much sand do you need? What's the thickness do you want? The rule of thumb, again, if you talk about the rule of thumb, it says 1 pound per gallon. But you don't have to go by that. It depends what you like. For example here, this is a 32 gallon. This is a 10 pound tank. Some people say each pan will give you about an inch. So this would probably give you about half an inch. So there is something here you can put in there to clarify your water. You can use that after. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna push the sand all over, as you can see. And again, not to worry, this will actually all settle down eventually once we get our water in. All right, so now, time for the water. All right, so over here, I'm gonna have to fix this first, okay? So, I'm gonna go grab myself some RO water, and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back here with more RO water. So RO water is a little bit harder to make because RO water goes through a reverse osmosis. But again, if you don't want to use RO water, it's not a must. So when you get yourself a prime, so the water conditioner is removes chlorine and chloramine. So this goes in here, it doesn't go in the tank. So this is a water conditioner you put in the water before you put in the salt. So if I had this, if I filled this out of my tap, I would put this in here, then I would mix it with my salt water. And that's what happens. So I'm not gonna use this because I'm not using RO water. You don't have to use, some people call it a step one. For me, I just call it a water conditioner, okay? So I'm gonna put this back here. And now, I'm gonna put water here, and I'm gonna mix it, and hopefully we get that 1.025. So here we go. As you can see, honestly, it's only been running for a good 10 minutes now. So we're at 1.024. That's fine. You don't have to go to 1.026 because this is a cycling period. So honestly, don't sweat it. If you want, I do have the salt right there. I can still put a tiny bit in there, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna keep it as is because it's still gonna fluctuate up and down. This is just the beginning. Take it easy, don't stress. Anyway, all right, so now, as you can see, I pushed my tank back to the wall. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start filling my water to my tank. All right, so if you wanna take a show them over here, that's what I'm gonna do. Going to Alright, I guess we have to put it in. I've got a hose. I plugged it to my pump because honestly, I can be using buckets, carrying water from here to here. I just don't want to mess. So all I did is I plugged my hose into the pump that's circulating my water. So all I'm gonna do is turn on the pump here. Alright, so I'm filling it up right now as we speak. So how much do I fill up? Well, I'm gonna fill up as much as the tank wants. So I'm gonna fill up to here. How much water does it take? It'll take probably a little bit less than 32 gallons because the volume of the rock and the sand will take that water. It will actually decrease that amount of water. While this is happening, so while this is filling up, I'm gonna leave this in here, filling up. And I'm going to show you about the heater. So we have a heater here. If you live in a northern climate where it's a little bit cold, so I chose up to 40 gallons. Some people say, which one do I pick? 100, 150, 50, 200. So it all depends where you want to put your tank. If you're putting your tank in the basement, it's very cold in there. You better make sure that you get yourself a heater that's going to take that fluctuations to go up and down. For me, 40 gallons is enough. This is going in the store. You know what? The door opens up. It's a little bit colder in here. So 100 is fine. Anyway, the explanation on this one is... Alright, so here's the heater. I'm going to put a heater in. I just opened it up. We were talking about what heater size, and this is what it is. Size. So for me, I'm going to tuck it in. I'm just going to put it in the first chamber and I'm going to just feed it through. So we're going to set it up at 75. That's what I would set it up at, 75. I'm going to put it right here and I'm just going to attach it. So, and I'm going to feed it through the back because I like to keep my cables very tidy and it just looks nicer. When you're done, this looks nice. Okay, so there's some topics that I didn't talk about. Skimmer. A lot of people say, do I need a skimmer for saltwater? Yes, you do. Skimmers are mandatory because there's a difference between saltwater fish and freshwater fish. Saltwater fish actually drink water. Freshwater fish don't drink water. A lot of people don't know this, but they do. So the skimmer takes the organic waste out of the water. Do you need it right away? No, you don't. Get your tank to cycle. Cycle it for about a month. Because you're not going to be putting fish right away. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't recommend turning on the lights for a month. I don't recommend putting fish for a month. You can start. Some bottles say you can start putting fish within 7 days, but that's totally up to you. Have I done it? I've done it before. So I just stopped the process from putting the water in. The reason why, I'm just waiting for this to settle down. So as you can see, I just put the water in, but it's not even that cloudy. Remember what I told you, I put the sand in first for this reason, so the water does not get cloudy, and it's gonna happen. The reason why I stopped is just because I wanna put the other things in. So over here, I have my filter floss. So I'm putting my filter floss on the second chamber, because I wanna leave this chamber open. I wanna put my skimmer and my heater. Hopefully they both fit. I've never done one of these before, it's my first time. But if they don't fit, I will put it in a second or third chamber later on. But for now, it's gonna go in the first chamber. Second chamber, I'm gonna put my filter floss. Filter floss is the, I put it in right now. Come on, I wanna show. So as you can see inside over here, I have the media. All I'm doing is I'm gonna put the filter floss right in there. That's it. And that's your mechanical filtration. I would recommend changing your filter floss every 3 days. That's what is probably recommended. Okay, so let's plug this back in and continue the process. All right, so here we are. All right, so now the water is going through, it's filling up, and we'll see you guys in a minute. All right, so now I filled it up. I turned on the lights. Again, I'm turning on the lights for you guys to view how nice I did it. Again, so you don't have to turn on the lights right away. The lights should be off, I recommend, for a month. Some people say 7 days, you want to put corals. Yeah, you can. Can you put corals? Yes, you can. Do I recommend it? No, because you're gonna get algae in there and there's nothing to eat that algae. You need your bacteria to build up. Once they build, that's what's gonna happen, where your algae, your bacteria is gonna be eating the algae. So it's up to you. It's your call. I would wait a month. It's up to you. So here, I'm going to the bacteria. There's a lot of different type of bacteria. There's stability. I'm using something called Special Blend Micro Lift. There's stuff from Fritz. So I'm just gonna look at the dosage here. For example, it says day 1, day 8, day 15, 22, 29. On day 1, for a 30-gallon tank, it says to put 30 mil. So that's all I need to put today. So we're putting 30 mil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at my measuring cup over here. This is a 30 mil cup. So I'm gonna get some, I have some in bulk because I do have a store and I use this. So as people ask me, where do I put this? You know, that's it. Just open it up like this and fill up the cup and you're good to go. And that's how you set a saltwater tank. Very easy, very simple, and you're good to go. Some people ask, another question I like to answer is that first of all, if you have any questions, I'm gonna leave the comments on, and I want you to leave some questions in the comments section. And if you want something, I can answer for you. One question people ask me: when do I use carbon? I would not use carbon right away. Let the tank relax itself. Let the bacteria grow in there. I would start using carbon probably 30 days after today. So after the initial setup, 30 days. And here you have it, saltwater tank. As you can see, my rock is pushed back. I have enough space for him to swim. In a couple of days, in about 10 days, you start to see coloration on the rock. This is actually dead rock that will become live one day. It will change color. You'll get coralline algae on it. You'll get a lot of algae. Another thing I forgot to mention in my video, and I'm going off topic a lot, but this is very important. A lot of people ask me, should I use live rock or should I use dead rock? I think you should use whatever, first of all, you feel comfortable with. I personally say dead rock because it comes in clean. No pests, nothing to worry about. You got nothing coming off other people's tanks, flatworms, bristleworms. There's a lot of pests out there. So when you do this, it's clean. You don't have to worry about anything, and that's how you start a cycle in your own home. And I wish you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much. Please hit a like down below. believe. It's my first video, but we're getting used to it. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you guys again in the near future. And I'll be making more videos about other things. Let me know what you guys want to know about. I will teach you guys how, in the future, how to take care of fish and how to input the fish and how to slowly drip them into the tank. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.